Facebook, and we'll fetch. All right, so just about a moment now to go, and we'll be starting. So those of you who've attended our previous sessions, you already know Rajshree. This is the third session with her. This is the fifth session in our series. We've done 2 more. And if you wish to access the recordings of those previous sessions, they're there on our YouTube channel, and they're also there on our Facebook page. You can go and access them there. By the way, Rajshree, there were some questions under the last session's Facebook, this thing. Maybe when you have time, you can go there and you can actually answer them.
Oh, okay.
There were a few questions regarding the last one that we had done on circadian. Okay, so guys, it's 7 o'clock. It's time. Let's begin. Like I said, if you've attended our previous sessions, Rajshree doesn't need any more introduction, but just to repeat, she's an integrative nutrition coach. She's a certified yoga instructor. I've known her for decades now, and I've seen her put everything that she talks about into practice. So she literally walks the talk. I follow her suggestions, and whenever I've taken her suggestions and followed them, I've seen a change in my health. So I can literally vouch for, this ocean of knowledge she has, and readily shares with everyone. So without much further ado, I'm going to, pass the floor to her. Just one quick thing. I know we named the session from wellness to illness, and many of you called up to say, is it a typo? Is it a mistake? Should it not be the reverse? But that's the whole idea. No, we put it like that deliberately, and I hope you will discover exactly why. Okay, so over to Rajshree. Please take it away.
Thank you, Nina, and a very warm good evening to all of you. Yes, so interesting, isn't it, that a lot of you noted that shouldn't the title of today's session be the other way around? And yes, I mean, anybody would think about it that way, that we need to know if we are not in a good space. How do you traverse the journey from illness to wellness? While that's a very important question to answer, I think the focus of today's session is really to try to first understand that how is it that our body travels through the different stages from wellness to illness. And when I say that, what I mean is that, the way nature has designed our body as a sort of a kind of perfection. I mean, if you think about the way our body performs so many intricate functions simultaneously, it is short of a miracle how it operates, and our body is naturally designed to keep us in a state of health. That's the starting point. From the time we are born, our body is designed to keep us not only in a state of health, but health is our birthright. That's the most important thing that I want to emphasize on, at this point in time. I'm going to kind of talk about a few concepts very, very quickly so that, we can actually sort of recap many things that we covered over the last 2 sessions. And I want to take a little bit of a moment really recap a few things. We started our first session, which we had called Finding Nutritive Balance, and we talked about various things there. I'm going to take a little bit of a pause to just help you understand what is nutrition. How do you decode nutrition? So, when we think about nutrition, we think about, a body receiving a lot of nourishment through various nutrients, which is perfectly the way to understand it. And we can imagine that we may also understand nutrition as something that happens when we consume something, which is, the dynamic of eating food. But nutrition, if you were to think about it as a concept, it goes beyond the overall dynamics of eating. Nutrition is basically the ability of the body to digest and absorb whatever food is being eaten, to transport and circulate the nutrients extracted thereof from the food, to bring about metabolic changes, and to appropriate those nutrients. So essentially, nutrition really means the ability of the body to nourish each and every cell in our body. And this happens through proper digestion, absorption, transportation, circulation, metabolic changes, and appropriation of the food that we eat. So the important thing that we need to know is that nutrition takes place at a cellular level. Every tiny cell in our body is very, very important. It is basically, nutrition is about how each tiny cell in our body is utilizing the food that we eat or the components of the food that we eat. And that is when your body begins to derive real use from the food that we eat. If each and every cell in our body is basically getting the nourishment from whatever that is eaten. So nutrition depends not just on the quality of nutrition, depends not just on the quality of food that we are eating, but it also depends on the quality of the physiological performance of your body, and which says a lot. So there's one very interesting phrase that my guru who has taught me all of these, we used to use. It says that it is not the food that works on the body, it is the body that works on the food. So quality of nutrition, therefore, is not just quality of food, but also quality of the physiological performance of your body. And I want you all to just take this point very, very seriously. Nutrition happens as a very autonomous activity. It cannot be forced. It just happens. So if all your body organs are performing their function, their role optimally and very effectively, then optimal nutrition will occur. But if your body's organs are not able to perform their roles properly for whatever reason, then optimal nutrition will not occur. So it is as simple as that. So therefore, what it means is that our task when we are choosing the food that we eat, one of the things that we need to know is that if we want our body to derive real nourishment at a cellular level, then we need to be aware that we choose food that is gentle on our system in terms of our digestive system. It does not put inordinate pressure on our physiological processes. It is, in fact, it is food that helps increase the efficiency of our organs is good food to have. And our task also, therefore, is to see that our body is able to utilize the nutrients out of the food that we eat, and not be starved despite having food. Now, this is a very important concept I want to talk about. We may be eating food and yet we may be nutritionally starving our body. What does that mean? It means that though we think we are eating the right food, our body is not able to absorb it effectively, not able to utilize the nutrients effectively, and therefore at a cellular level, nourishment is not reaching, and therefore there is a sort of starvation that is happening. So then what is happening to the food that we are eating? It is getting suboptimally utilized, and any food that gets suboptimally utilized, which means that it's not getting fully utilized by the body, is getting stored in the body in some form. Now, one of the form that we easily recognize is called the fat. Okay, what is fat? Fat is nothing but a way for body to think that, okay, this food has come, it is meant to provide some kind of nourishment, but right now I'm not able to do an effective job of it. But let me not let it go away. Let me hold on to it. So the body finds a way to convert that into a form that it can store, and it stores it as fat in various parts of the body. Okay. Now, going from there, we talked about the fact that in a quick recap in our previous session, it talked about the fact that we receive nutrition not only from the food that we eat, but we also receive it from various other sources: fresh air, water, sunshine, rest, activities, exercise, movement, environment that we live in, our relationships, the mental poise, the attitude with which we approach life, and the general feelings that we have, our emotional poise. All of this play a very, very important role in how well our body is able to derive the benefits of nutrition. So remember that nutrition is not a long list of nutrients. It's not like vitamins and minerals and carbohydrates. Yes, they are components, but is your body able to utilize that from whatever food that you eat? That is really nutrition. So basically, nutrition in a nutshell is our capacity to utilize energy, whether it is physical energy, whether it is intellectual energy, whether it is emotional energy, whether it is spiritual energy. And for that, we need to understand how our body works, what is it that it needs, and how can we help our body perform at its most optimum function. With this, I want to just quickly segue to another concept. This concept is called concept of care or self-care. When we talk about health, we talk about self-care. Self-care is taking care of yourself proactively. I mean, taking responsibility for your own health. But the word care is a very interesting acronym, and the CARE stands for circulation. Circulation of what? Of breath and oxygen, of blood and glucose energy in a body, movement and lubrication of the joints, all the body functions, circulation. And how does body achieve any form of circulation, whether it is of food, breath, oxygen, movement? It is through movement, activity, and exercise. So C in care stands for circulation. A stands for assimilation. Assimilation of nutrients that you receive from the body, because these nutrients are ultimately the building material that your body receives for growth, for maintenance, for repair, of the body through the process of metabolism, where the nourishment, the nutrients are being broken down and converted into a form that is utilizable by the body. So how does assimilation happen? Assimilation happens only if your body is able to digest the food well. And for that, it is important that your gut, which is our digestive system, which consists of our small and our large intestine, along with our stomach, has good gut health. If you have good gut health, then you are going to be able to digest your food well. So A stands for assimilation. R, C-A-R-E, R stands for relaxation. All forms of relaxation, whether it is physical rest, whether it is mental rest, whether it is sensory rest, whether it is physiological rest. So through good sleep, through some form of relaxation, through quiet contemplation, finding your mental peace, you are able to achieve a state of relaxation. There's another concept of digestive rest. Your body also needs digestive rest. If we keep on eating very frequently and a lot, then the body is continuously, digesting food, and the body can actually do a lot of other important functions of, repairing, maintaining itself, healing itself, only when the body is not utilizing energy for digestion. So it is very essential to give your body digestive rest, through all kinds of things, through proper sleep, through rest, even being positive, in general, or engaging in activities that are creative and that are, relaxing. You can actually give your body a state of relaxation. So that is circulation, assimilation, relaxation, the three first letters of care. The final one, E. E stands for elimination. Elimination of what? Elimination of all forms of toxic waste that our body accumulates. When the body is not able to digest food well, the residue either needs to be eliminated out of the body. If the body is unable to expel and eliminate the residue that it has not been able to utilize, then it stores. The body stores it as toxic waste. Now, this toxic waste can be found in the body in many forms. Fat is one form in which, we can say that body stores. Now, fat is not a bad word, okay? Remember, body needs some amount of fat as a sort of storage. It's like having a fixed deposit in the body, that if ever there is going to be a depletion of energy, it can immediately tap into that reserve and, utilize it for the body's need, which is fine. So fat serves a very important function, but beyond a point, if the body is storing more than what it requires, that is what leads to toxicity in the body. So it's not just about physical, toxic waste. There are other forms of toxic waste that we store in our body, which are held through, negative emotions, negative thoughts. Sometimes when we hold on to negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions, our body holds on, our physiology holds on to them. And that also weighs us down very subtly, but it is a form of toxic waste in the body. So the body can find elimination only if it finds a way to release the toxic buildup, release stress. Any form of stress, especially mental and emotional stress, also causes toxic buildup in our body. So that is the concept of care. Care stands for circulation, assimilation, relaxation, and elimination. If you need, you can please just write it down. Now, I want you to just think about some food for thought. Imagine our health, like a bank account, where energy is the money in the account. Okay, so now let's kind of think about, in every account you have a credit and a debit account, right? So what are the credits to good health? If you're eating the right food at the right time, if you're getting the right nutrients and your body is able to receive all those nutrients at cellular level for the body to function optimally, for all the organs of the body to function optimally. If you're able to get good quality of sleep, that is a credit to your health account. If you are indulging in some kind of exercise activity, physical activity, which is what body needs because body is designed for movement, then that is a sort of credit into our health bank account. And if you generally approach life with a certain positive attitude, with positivity, even that is sort of a credit to your health account. Now, all this leads to us being able to build a healthy bank balance of health and wellness in our body. What happens when the body has a very good balance of health and wellness? Body is full of vital energy. All the body functions are happening optimally and normally. But then in our lifestyle, there are certain behaviors or actions that causes debit also from this health account. So what are those factors that causes the debit? When we eat food that is foodless food, basically food lacking any form of nutrients or nourishment. For example, all kinds of processed foods, anything that is available out of a packet, not the way nature has designed it. A very interesting way to look at it is that if you are eating food that has been preserved for a longer shelf life, it is quite likely that that food is going to shorten our shelf life. So please think about it that way. So foodless foods, undisciplined lifestyle. So, not getting enough sleep at the right time, or not lack of physical activity, inertia, all of this, are debits. Even when we fall sick, sometimes that is a sort of a debit from our health account. Now, what happens when all these debits happen? When when we are binging on processed food or eating wrong food or leading undisciplined lifestyle, then there is a depletion that is happening from the health balance of our body. What happens when the body is depleted of this healthy energy? The body goes into something called the coping mode. In the coping mode, what happens is that the body is now faced with a circumstance, a scenario where it has to ration the energy that is had. It says that I have only this much energy, and now I need to use it I have to use it carefully and judiciously. So it starts conserving the limited energy that is available to the body, because the body's health account is depleted. And when body gets into coping mode, our body functions, different organic functions, whether it is our lungs, our kidney, our liver, our digestive system, whatever it is, these body organic systems start functioning suboptimally. That means that they are not able to perform their function to their 100%. Okay, so think about this. Our health is like a bank account, and energy is the money in this account, which means that our health is a function of how much vital energy is there in our body. And there are various things that can actually start affecting your body's energy. Okay. So from there on, I want to quickly dive into some examples. Let's look at how do you know, or how do we understand? Let's understand our body signal. Whenever we feel excessive hunger or tiredness or stress or even illness, these are all signs our body is giving us, and where our body is telling us that, hello, I am lacking enough energy and you need to replenish vital energy. Whenever you have these kind of signs of fatigue, tiredness, stress, it is body's way of telling us that vital energy is lacking. Now, when we ignore these signals that the body is giving, then we are literally putting our body into the danger of running into a debit account. Okay. And when we eat food, for example, which are lacking in energy, foodless foods, our body spends more energy trying to just digest and assimilate that food. And it actually depletes our energy balance even more. Okay. So why do we eat food? We eat food for energy, because energy is the fuel for our body, for nourishment, for biological growth. We also eat for other reasons, like we eat for some emotional reasons, because we have certain memories associated with certain foods. We eat for social reasons, for different occasions and all of that. We also eat because of tradition or whatever may be the reason. But the most important reason we need to eat is that we need to know is that food is what is helping our body grow, maintain, and repair itself. And are we able to kind of choose foods that are helping these functions get performed optimally? Okay. So from there on, I'm just quickly going to talk about The concept of digestive burden. And this is a very important thing I want to talk about before we move to the wellness to illness spectrum. I want to talk about how our body traverses the entire spectrum from wellness to illness. But before that, let's understand the concept of digestive burden. Why minimizing by digestive burden on the body is important. So, see, what is happening is that our body is constantly renewing itself, okay? It is constantly renewing itself to maintain highest level of vitality and function. So what is actually happening therefore in the body? We have about 75 trillion cells in our body, which are new cells are getting formed, old cells are dying. So cells are renewing themselves and old cells are dying. So all the cells that have outlived their usefulness, they die, they become cellular debris, and they are replaced by vital, vigorous young cells. Okay. Now, if your body requires heavy cell replacement, then it also means that your body requires heavy expenditure of energy as well. And therefore, it is going to require a lot of nutrients. So that seems like a very tough task, right? If the body needs so much change. So the way the body's intelligence works is like this. The body's intelligence works in a way that it tries to prolong the lifespan of the cells in a way that you can conserve energy, ensuring that there is minimum wear and tear. So as long as we are able to, prolong the lifespan of existing cells, the body's intelligence is working to try to do this through minimum wear and tear. But what happens is that when we have poor lifestyle and poor eating habits, a lack of exercise and poor quality of sleep and all of that, all these factors which are pushing our body into the debit account, they are very destructive for the cells in our body. What they do is all these poor lifestyle choices actually put a tremendous burden on the body, because they actually shorten not only the lifespan of the cells, causing a lot of cellular death and toxicity in the body, which if it is not getting eliminated effectively, then there is a lot of toxic buildup that is happening in the body. And this causes tremendous amount of strain, energy strain, and strain on our nervous system. As a concept, I just want you to understand this. I'm not going to get into too many details about this, but just understand what is happening. So basically, therefore, it is important that we eat food that are digestively easy for the body, which is why in the last two sessions, we spoke about the fact that if you eat foods that are, natural, like your fruits, vegetables, have some amount of raw nuts, sprouts, root vegetables and all of that, bring them into your diet, you are eating food that are energy givers, in the sense that they put less energy, less strain on your digestive system while giving a lot of energy, and therefore they keep your body into a positive energy balance. But if our lifestyle choices go towards, choosing foods that are made of, a lot of processed foods, refined flours, or, excessive sugar, salt, and processed food, even to some extent animal proteins, which are digestively tougher to digest by the body, then what happens is that it puts a lot of strain on our body and our energy. They serve as energy depleters. What it means is that they push our body into a negative energy balance. So we always would like, if we want health and wellness, we would like our body to always be in positive energy balance, which means that we always have extra energy in case the body needs it. We don't want energy to be stored in form of only fat or toxicity, but it needs to be available energy to the body. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about how do we move to a state of illness. Our body is designed to keep us in state of health. So it does everything in its capacity to keep you in state of health. It's only when the body Body starts giving up only when it has been in a coping mode for a prolonged period of time. I mean, there's just been too much of abuse, which we have not realized. Inadvertently, we have not realized that our body is experiencing a lot of abuse because we have not been paying attention to it. Only then the body gets pushed into a state of illness. Now, our body is designed to maintain an alkaline body environment because that is the best environment in which health prevails. Okay. Every function that we do, walking, thinking, digesting, produces some amount of acid in our body. When too much of acid accumulates in our body functions slows down. So our body needs food that can convert this acidic environment into alkaline environment. Again, what foods help? Natural foods, lots of fruits, vegetables, raw. Bring them into your diet along with the rest of it, and that will help rebalance your internal body environment. Which, if it is turning extremely acidic, then extremely acidic environment is like laying out a red carpet for ill health to flourish. But if you have an alkaline body environment, then health will flourish. Okay. Now, from here, I'm just going to quickly make a segue to another topic, which is I'm going to talk about how is it that the body moves from a state of wellness to illness. Let's look at it this way. Body's default state is state of wellness. That is what we are born with. That is our birthright. That is what our body is fighting day in and day out to keep us healthy. Okay. So when a body faces any form of illness or disease means body which is not at ease. Interestingly, disease is nothing but a healing crisis. It is a healing crisis started by the body itself. When body integrity is compromised, when there is a lot of accumulation of uneliminated toxins, then the body realizes that, oh my God, something needs to be done. So the body itself starts a healing crisis, which is what we call disease. Now, what is happening here? Basically, when this healing crisis is starting, the body, what it is doing very simply is just this. It is saying that I need to redirect my energy from normal organic function to fighting this crisis. That is what the body is doing at that time. Now, the extent of the crisis that the body experiences is determined by two factors in your body. Factor number one is what is the level of vital energy in your body? Factor number two, what is the extent of toxic overload in the body? So, for example, amongst young infants and children, their bodies, because they are newly born bodies, they are bodies that are in perfect health. Their level of vitality or vital energy in the body is so high that body does not tolerate even a little bit of toxic overload, which is why we will notice that amongst infants and young children, they tend to fall sick very often. Unko very frequently, they will have cough, cold, fever. Why? That is because the level of vitality in their body is so high that it does not tolerate any amount of, even the minimum amount of toxic overload, the body will absolutely start working against it. But as we grow older, our vitality slows down or lowers. So our body's ability to tolerate toxic overload also increases, which is why we can continue to abuse our body unknowingly and drag it for a prolonged period of time, thinking that everything is okay, till one fine day, the body gives us maybe some surprise signal and lets us know that, oh, something is wrong and we are not well. And today we see that a lot of lifestyle, conditions, whether it is heart conditions. 1 minute, sorry. Every
Yeah, in
time.
fact, heart conditions, all the cases that come to me, in fact, they
Yeah,
start showing symptoms when the heart is already blocked for
absolutely.
80 to 85%. Till that time, the poor thing is just trying to move on. And the same thing is
Exactly.
with arthritis and joints and joint issues. We continue without paying attention to the misalignment and pain and all that. And then it's only when it becomes unbearable, when we are forced to look at it. It's like jab danda padta hai.
Exactly, exactly. It's just that. So, basically, so can you imagine that there is always a slow build up. Nothing has happened overnight. Remember, it was in the process of making for a long time till it manifested and till it became, till we became aware of it, and it kind of gave us a sort of a strong signal where we became aware and it got recognized. But yeah, so there are two types of disease. Now think about it. Disease is a healing crisis, okay? And there are two kinds of disease. One is acute or constructive disease. What is an acute or constructive disease? Basically, it is remedial in nature. It is meant to quickly restore balance. So it's a healing crisis where the body says, all my energies have to, something is wrong. I need to fight this. There is an enemy, and I need to bring the body back to balance. That's a constructive disease. But then another form of disease is called the degenerative disease. This degenerative disease is a result of organic impairment, and mostly it is irreversible in nature. But degenerative disease also take a long time for build up, and I'm going to just walk you through some steps of what these stages are. Okay, so disease is basically an eliminative process. What is body trying to do? It is somehow trying to free itself of toxic matter and somehow trying to repair the damage that has been done to the body. So when the body wants to work on that, what it does is it will have to withdraw energy from regular function and redirect that energy towards healing. So, um, that is what is happening in the body. So, what body does is it rejects anything that is irritating. It basically always acts to defend your body, to free itself from any form of irritants. Very simple example. When we sneeze is a very simple example of our body trying to eject irritating dust particles. And it is natural reaction that is happening. Okay, so all constructive remedial disease are body defense actions. And there's only one underlying cause of all disease, and that condition is called toxemia. Toxemia means body has reached a state where there is so much excess toxic waste matter that it is not able to eliminate, and it has insufficient nerve energy to be able to eliminate it. That is when the body recognizes this as a crisis. Now, does the body get into this stage from day one? Of course not. It takes about 7 stages. There are 7 stages for the body to reach a state of a disease which is degenerative, which is irreversible. So let's look at what is the base stage. Base stage of the body is body in perfect natural rhythm and health. That is the base state. Then stage 1. Stage 1 is called enervation. Enervation means nervous exhaustion. Essentially, what it means is that there is not enough nerve energy in the body to carry out normal body functions. Okay, so less energy is there, but more work is there. काम बहुत सारा है, energy कम है. Now, what happens during this time? Body's normal functions are getting impaired, so body is not able to eliminate properly, and because it can't eliminate, further depletion of energy happens. So it's like a downward spiral. Now, this is a time in enervation when body is giving you some silent signals, silent indicators. It is basically trying to tell you that, you know what, I need more time, space, and energy to restore balance and health. But we may not be able to recognize. Why does it need this balance and health? Because it wants to get back to the rhythm of energizing, cleansing, building, and repair. Remember the circadian rhythm we talked about? Energizing, cleaning, building, and repair. That's all the body wants to do. It's saying, I want to go get back to my normal rhythm, but I don't have enough energy to do so. So, what are those silent indicators? Hair fall, dryness of skin, poor sleep quality, fatigue. These are all silent indicators where the body is trying to tell us that, hello, please pay attention to me. I'm lacking in energy. Do something. Help me so that I can help you. When we don't attend to the body at this stage, then the body starts going downhill and enters the next stage. The next stage is called toxemia or toxicosis. It is a condition of intoxication, a sort of, in the body. Now, here what is happening is that it is a further deterioration, basically, because now it is not able to fulfill its energy needs. There is a metabolic imbalance happening. Body is now starting to store toxic matter, and this toxic matter is now saturating our blood is becoming thick. It's saturating our body tissues. It is saturating our lymph nodes. It's saturating our intestinal fluids. So not proper not proper elimination happening, constipation, many kind of things are happening. How are we now? What are the signals body is giving? Energy deprivation is happening now. How? Fatigue, tiredness, sleepiness, low energy. These are all signs that body is entering a stage of toxemia. It is accumulating toxicity beyond a certain capacity, and now it is affecting normal body functions. So, even when we are overworked, when we are under a lot of stress, when we have insufficient sleep, or we are undergoing emotional trauma, all these things can drain our body of nerve energy very, very quickly and push our body into the second stage. So basically, again, through this signals of fatigue, etc., it is basically giving us signals that I need attention. When it does not get attention at this stage, it reaches the third stage. The third stage is called irritation. Now, what is happening? Now, toxicity is building up from stage 1. But in stage 3, now the toxic matter has reached a stage where even our nerve network, the nervous system, nerve network, is now sensing the toxicity. So this is a time when we start feeling uneasy with the symptoms that are bothering us. But so far they were not painful, but now they're becoming irritating. So this is a stage where the body still tries to take control, of health. The body's intelligence always works to pull all stops. It will say, okay, this human is not taking care of me, but I need to take care of this human. So it will start giving you more active indicators. Like sometimes you might have excessive bowel movement through vomiting, diarrhea. This is the way of body, trying to restore balance. So, illnesses, these are all crises brought about by the body, right? So diarrhea, vomiting is a way for clearing bowel toxicity. Urinary, way method, excessive urination or concentrated color of urine is an active indicator that body's trying to somehow, eliminate. Then your skin might start showing boils, itches, abscess, because skin is the largest surface organ with the largest, possibility of elimination, with such a large surface area. So through skin, we can start eliminating. Sometimes cough and cold, so lungs are, getting into action, somehow trying to help the body to throw out toxicity. Sometimes we just have fever, and in fever, what happens in fever? Body completely conserves. We are like ekdam shithil ho jate. You have to lie down, no energy, nothing, because the body knows that the only way I can try to bring this human back into balance is conserve energy, let him rest, let him or her rest, so that I can do my healing task. You don't feel hungry, so no digestive burden at that time. That's body's intelligence at work, right? You will never find, you will not feel like eating anything. And the body doesn't want you to eat, because if you eat, the energy will go into digestion. Now the body says, I need to do my job. I need to fix whatever is needs fixing. So it kind of puts you through that. So that is stage number 3, irritation. So let's just recap: enervation, first stage; second stage, toxemia; third stage, irritation. Now let's look at the fourth stage. What happens if even in the third stage we have ignored body signal? Then the body goes into the fourth stage, which is called inflammation. A word we use so often, no? Inflammation. Kitna common word hai? Do you know that most of the time inflammation as a condition only happens as a temporary situation. If there is some problem, body will have some inflammation and it will lead to some healing crisis. Moment the healing is done, inflammation goes. But today we are finding people with a state of chronic inflammation, which means inflammation jo sharir mein ghar kar gaya hai. It is there to stay. Now, inflammation is basically a body crisis response to a supposedly life-threatening situation. It is supposed to be a very painful stage. Now the body needs to make massive effort to cope with extreme level of toxicity. So when does inflammation happen? When toxins are totally blocked from elimination. So in stage 3 irritation, body is still trying to detoxify, but wo bhi nahi agar hua, तो inflammation situation आ जाती है, which is the fourth stage. It is like an emergency situation. Now, how do you recognize that inflammation? Do you know all kinds of itis are forms of inflammation? Bronchitis, gastritis, appendicitis, rhinitis, hepatitis, tonsillitis, so many of them. Just a few examples. These are all signs of inflammation. What is happening in each case? The body is trying to somehow eliminate excess toxic load. So what happens during inflammation? It is like, rasta, when municipal or PWD tries to repair a road, तो barricades बना देते हैं कि यहाँ पे काम चल रहा है, so people move out of the way and all of that. Exactly something similar is happening in the body. The body also puts out its most intense effort to clean and restore itself. It creates sort of barricade. It creates inflammatory conditions in specific organs where repair is required. Okay, so that is what inflammation, which is the fourth stage. Now, it can happen that even this stage can get ignored. If this stage is ignored by us, as in, we don't take enough care of the body at this stage, or body is unable to take care of itself, then the body gets pushed into the fifth stage of disease. It's going progressively, okay? So dheere dheere ye chal raha hai. This could happen over years or months. Fifth stage is called ulceration. Ulceration is a stage where a huge amount of cells and tissue structures are destroyed as the body is unable to live in that toxic medium. When tissues get destroyed in a body, a void remains, and what is happening here? Some less important organs in the body start bearing the brunt of dirt being directed at them so that more important organs can be protected. So sometimes, we find what are the less important body organs. People say, oh, appendicitis. Appendix hai, usko nikal do. Why? What has happened? A lot of dirt has got directed there because it was some more important organ is getting protected. Gallbladder. Then you are told, oh, gallbladder may need to be removed. It's considered as less important organ. Okay. So body suffers from ulcers as an outlet for extraordinary toxic buildup because it has to somehow relieve itself. At this stage, body can still be relieved. Okay, if a way is found to lower toxic levels, then the damage can be repaired. But how does that happen? You can only lower toxic levels if you are aware how to take care of your health, how to make sure that you can keep your body in a state of balance, help it eliminate, on a regular basis. So the cycle of care, circulation, assimilation, relaxation, elimination needs to happen on a regular basis. Only then the body is able to kind of stay in a state of balance. So if we are able to make lifestyle choices of self-care, then we are able to find ways to reduce toxicity in our body and help the body heal itself. But if we are not aware of it, or if we ignore it, then the body is going to get pushed into a stage of ulceration and probably beyond, right? So, after if ulceration as the fifth stage also is surpassed, body is not able to do anything there, then the sixth stage is called enduration. Enduration, as the word is, the body reaches a stage where it says, you know what, I've tried my best to help restore balance, but I'm failing. So it says, let me do whatever it is, I will still do whatever it is in my capacity to try and still protect the body. So in enduration, the body goes into a quiet. It is the quiet before the storm. It says, okay, I will do the minimum that I can to somehow protect the body. This is the last stage where the body is still trying to exert some kind of intelligent control. So what it does is, in enduration, there is a hardening of the tissue, or if there is some cellular damage or tissue that are destroyed in the body and there's a void, it tries to create a sort of hardened tissue around it, a sort of quarantining the toxic material, which is what we call tumor formation. So what it is doing is it's quarantining it through a hardened tissue कि यार इसको ना एक जगह पे रखते हैं. Let's not allow it to spread anywhere. Let's keep it in one part so that we are still somehow, body still working out of that self-preservation mode. This is called the stage of enduration. This is the stage of quiet before the storm. The final stage is what we call cancer. This is where the body's intelligence has been overpowered by the excess toxicity has reached a state where the cell and the tissue systems have now become disorganized, parasitical, and gone haywire. Our genetic encoding has got altered by the toxicity in the body. The DNA gets deactivated. The cells lose their capability of intelligent, organized action, which they are able to when the body is in a state of wellness. But when the body has got moved through various stages, in the last stage of illness, the cells lose their capability of intelligent, organized action. They lose their capability to communicate with other cells. So they no longer know how to act, how to multiply. And that is when the body's environment becomes very, very hostile. Basically, what is happening here is that these cells that lose communication or have gone rogue, we call them cancer cells. They only live in hostile environment, and they will flourish as long as those kind of nutrients are available to them. What are those nutrients that help them? Excessive sugar, anaerobic, oxidized, acidic environment in the body is the food for these kind of cells to thrive. So, illness never happens overnight. The journey from wellness to illness is a long drawn process, okay? And before we understand how we take our body from illness to wellness, it is very important for us to understand that how the body actually has traveled from wellness to illness. Nothing happens overnight, ever. It is when we ignore our body's signals, when we don't tune into what our body's needs are, when we don't take care of our body. So, the most important condition for wellness is self care. And self care is about taking responsibility, for yourself, taking actions, because your body is the only vehicle that your soul has available in this lifetime. It is our duty to take care of it. Our body is always taking care of us, but it is equally our duty to take care of this vehicle by giving it the right kind of inputs. Do you know that in 21 days, our taste buds change? In 40 days, we can have a new skin. In 3 months, you can have a new liver. When we live a lifespan of 70 years, every 7 years, our body is renewing itself completely. So if by the time we reach the age of 70, our body has actually seen 10 renewal stages, 10 lifetimes of renewal. So we really need to understand this and treat our body with the reverence that it needs, as long as, it is here to encase our soul. So I just wanted to leave you all with that thought. We just have 5 more minutes right now for the session.
That was a beautiful session, a lot of information. And, yeah, this thing about the body renewing itself completely in 7 years is something I've heard. But, all the stages that you've explained, they've just been done so beautifully. So we do have 5 minutes. Thank you, everyone. Especially thanks, Rajshree. We'll take up some questions. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat. If you're watching us on Facebook or if you're here on Zoom, you can ask the live questions. And, the whole idea of this series is really to create awareness, because a lot of us jump and we want solutions. But I've noticed in my experience that without educating and without awareness, there is no long lasting solution. It's only a very short-lived thing. So when you understand the concepts better, hopefully you will want to take action and put these concepts into practice. And that's the whole idea about also these sessions, that we don't just give short gap answers, but educate you, make you aware. Okay. So I've seen Vijay's hand has been up for a very long time. So Vijay, would you like to go first? And then we'll take up Preeti's question as well.
Actually, I'm having fatty liver, so I just want ma'am's number for.
Fatty liver? Vijay, did you say fatty
Yeah,
liver?
he said fatty liver. I think we will
Yes.
also be doing, single things eventually, we said, but we are building up to that.
Yeah,
We'll also be
but
doing
I'll answer this question because it's a very important question and I think it resonates with a lot of people. Fatty liver is basically a situation where excess toxicity has entered into the liver. See, the function of the liver is basically, it ends up becoming the garbage bin of the body. But basically, the function of the liver is to store excess glucose in form of glycogen as stored energy. Okay, that is the role, and to be able to provide that energy as and when the body needs. But what happens is that when there's insufficient elimination happening, and maybe our choice of foods is such that the body, when it can't store beyond a point glycogen, it converts that excess toxicity into fat. It will store it as fat, okay, in the liver. Now, the thing is that fatty liver is basically, there are various causes for it. I mean, you can look it up. I mean, one is alcohol related and the other is non-alcohol related. People used to always associate fatty liver with alcohol consumption, but today fatty liver is happening more because of our food and lifestyle choices and clean eating, helping body detoxify, eliminate, clean eating, bringing in some discipline into the life, physical activity, and ensuring that the body gets back to balance is the only way. Is it reversible? It is, if it can be. Now, if fatty liver has taken years for that stage, don't expect overnight results, but it'll require commitment to a lifestyle change and commitment to health. And, it's a wake up calls sort of a thing. But clearly, what it only is telling us is that change the lifestyle, change your food.
Preeti, would you like to go next?
I see a question here from Preeti Gotekar about
Yes,
hysterectomy.
yes. Rajshree, hello. Thank you for the nice session. My question is on the similar lines, the sir which has asked now. Is enlarged liver also the consequence of toxins, like buildup of toxins? And second one is fibroid also the same thing, uterine fibroids, which is very common nowadays?
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, any kind of growth, body tries to contain it, right? So that it doesn't disturb and doesn't interfere with the rest of the bodily processes. So it is any form of growth that is happening is basically something that needed to be eliminated has not been able to be eliminated. Simple as that. Body has stored it. It is when body stores it and it's not needed, it is toxic for the body. So the toxicity can actually spread and start interfering with a lot of bodily processes. Body's intelligence at work ensures that it still tries to protect the body. So it tries to contain this toxicity into form of certain kind of growths or tumors or all of that. But there are ways in which these things can go. I mean, basically it requires commitment to lifestyle changes. I mean, I'm giving you my own personal example. 13, 15 years back, I was asked to have a hysterectomy done. But then at that time I came across the health awareness center who taught me all of this and made me become aware of my health. I learned a lot of these things. I never underwent hysterectomy eventually after changing my lifestyle, but it was a long drawn process. But the question was that what my guru Dr. Venkat told me was that, is your uterus an unimportant organ? Just because it has outlived its utility, you want to remove it out of the body? Let your body do the healing. So I chose to allow my body to do the healing.
Absolutely. I think we especially in the School of Pranic Healing, most of us know, and we've seen many cases where doctors have said something, and I have full respect for doctors. I come from a medical background. I have a lot of friends. I think short-term allopathy works, but anything that causes you to be dependent on medicine, it's causing toxicity somewhere else. And the body knows, the body is intelligent, it knows how to heal. I've seen, like I said, I've seen Rajshree's journey long back, and I've seen the change in her. So if you do the work, we have to be willing to do the work. Some of you, I know most of you come from the pranic healing background. Even something like, we learn pranic healing also, but do we really practice self-pranic healing? Today, again, it was just reiterated, self-care. I mean, even if you really practice what is taught in self-pranic healing, a lot of the energetic pile-up that happens, that gets taken care of. And then you add, and automatically I've seen also, I think everything is interconnected. When you start taking care of your body energy, at least with me, it happened. When I was doing certain practices, it was automatically rejecting, my body was automatically rejecting certain food stuff. It's, Rajshree and I had a discussion, remember, that I'm not being able to eat certain stuff now because the body rejects it. The body doesn't want it anymore because it's not nice. So when you let your body be aware, it knows what to do. It knows, and that's the whole idea about these sessions. Incidentally, we do have an online self-pranic healing workshop coming up. It is open to all over the age of 16. You can do it 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours in 4 days. We have it coming from, I think, the 12th to the 14th of September. If anyone wants to attend, let me know. We will have more sessions with Rajshree. I think we have another session in this series on yin yoga, which is all going to be about body movements. I'll be putting up details on that as well very soon. So I'd like to again thank Rajshree and thank all of you for participating. We hope you found the session useful. We hope you will, more than anything else, put these things to practice, because at the end, that is the whole idea of it. So if you have questions, you can put the questions on the Facebook
Ma'am,
page, on YouTube, this thing, and we'll answer. Yes, Roja, you had one last question. And then
yeah, not question, ma'am. I wanted to share my feedback. I completed pranic healing basic and advanced. I
Yes.
have actually uterus fibroid, and I started healing for myself, myoma, and I literally faced some change because I have my period cycle like 24 days and 22 days. Last 1 month I'm doing it. This month my period cycle changed to 27 to 28 days, like as previous it is. And I can feel the some changes, but I'm still waiting another 2 months to do the healing and then go for a test.
Yes.
It's very good actually.
Continue, and if you want more information about what dietary changes you can follow, you can take Rajshree's help. I've put
Yes,
her
ma'am.
WhatsApp number. Please don't call her, send her a message. She's a very busy person and she's not in India, she's outside, so she won't take calls. Just send her a WhatsApp message, set up an appointment, and take her help. Like I said, she's my go-to person. I take her advice when I have to follow up something for myself.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Rajshree, again. Thanks a
You
lot.
all. Thank you.
Bye.